I know I said last week that I was gonna play. Why is it being silly? Why is it? Oh my god, my webcam is being silly. I need to replug it back in, even though I just did. Why is it being? No, I said. What? There we go. There we go. Yeah. So I said last week that I would be playing Case. Oh, thank you. Welcome in, Grumpy Keeper. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I said last week. Maybe. I can't remember what I said last week. I have a terrible memory. But I'm pretty sure I said last week about playing Case 3 of Chronicles, and there's the wrong charger. I need one for that. Doing that. But yeah, so I said I would play Case 3 of Chronicles. But my dad was like, hey, the other day my dad was like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? Because my birthday's next week. And I was like, I want Apollo Justice. And he was like, is that a game on Steam? And I was like, yes. And he was like, alright, I'll get it for you now then. So he got me Apollo Justice. And yeah, so we're starting Apollo Justice. We're doing the tutorial case today. I actually don't know how this tutorial case is split up, so I'm gonna look up how each game is split up. I could just Reddit on this. Reddit I can trust. So Turn About Trump, which is the first game in Apollo Justice. That's like just under 2 hours, so I'll probably take like 2 hours playing now. Probably take 2 hours playing that and rambling. So yeah, I need to adjust my webcam. Yeah, I'll probably take 2 hours playing. Hello, Nordic the Norse. Hello, welcome on in. Thank you for the look. But yeah, so according to this Reddit post by Rain Spectre X, this is on the r/AceAttorney subreddit. But yeah, so apparently Turn About Trump is around an hour and 50 minutes. So knowing me and how long it took me to play the first tutorial case for Chronicles, it'll probably take me maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get through this case. And then next week, we're gonna do case 3 for Adventures. I need to change my capture because I didn't do that. I need to change my game capture from Chronicles to Apollo Justice. Also, this game is quite cool. So I was a little bit worried that since I didn't pre-order Apollo Justice, that I wouldn't get the DLC episodes. Well, look. So first, this is the first game. This only has 4 cases. I didn't kind of expect that this would have had 5 cases. But you know what? 4 cases is still good. 4 cases is still good. But when we look at the other games, so Dual Destinies, this has 6 episodes because this has the special episode as well. And I'm pretty sure this DLC episode for Dual Destinies, which is the second game, I'm pretty sure this is the game that the case. I'm pretty sure this is the case that brings Pearl back, who I am very excited to see. I think in this game, she's like a teenager, so I think this game takes like 8-ish years after Trials and Tribulations. I could be wrong, but I think it takes place about 8-ish years after Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. And then we have Spirit of Justice, which has the special episode. Now looking at the cover art, I am reminded of the stuff I've heard about this episode. And look, in this episode, Maya comes back. Maya comes back in this episode, which I am excited for. Yeah, but in this episode, I have heard a little bit about this DLC episode. And that it brings back Larry Butts. I don't know if Larry is in any of the other episodes. Is in any of the other episodes. But I know he's definitely in this one. Because he tries to get with a bride on her wedding day. And I think she just goes along with it. I think. I could be wrong about that. I could be so wrong about that. But yeah, so that would be interesting. And then this is like the art library, so I'm gonna quickly go through this. So these are just, this is from the first game. I'm just gonna quickly go through look through the cover art for these. Not necessarily gonna go through all these, but looking at the cover art, you can see just how cool they are. Like this is a little bit of concept art for, I think, Clavier. I don't know how people pronounce his first name. I think this is Clavier. He looks pretty cool. Though from what I've seen, I think he does look better without the beanie. And then we've obviously got concept art for Blackwell there. And I cannot remember this person's name. I think it's Nadra or something like that. We'll meet them eventually. And then we've got the animation studio. And as you can see, first game is 2D. Then Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice are 3D, like in Chronicles. And then we've got the Accolade. These are the achievements. So we've also got completion of all the episodes. Playing the game in any one of the available costumes. Oh yeah, the costumes. I kind of forgot about the costumes. Presented evidence during the first examination. Performed every forensic technique at least once in all 3 games. Learned about Trucy's monthly allowance in episode 3. Choosing guilty as the jurist in episode 4. This is where the jury concept comes in. I don't know. I think the jury thing is in Chronicles as well. I'm not sure. Also, I've called, so if I sound kind of shit, then that's why I'm just feeling like shit. Having presented Phoenix with the Themis Herald in episode 3 of Dual Destinies. Has been loved during Fulbright. So that's his name. I keep seeing him on TikTok. Whenever I get a turn to 80/20. TikTok's on my For You page. I keep seeing him, but I never knew his name. Yeah, and then we've got Birds in the Brain, pressing Diplom and listening to Blackwell's take on what ought to be the featured attraction in the special episode of Dual Destinies. Choosing her life choices during revisualization in episode 2 of Spirit of Justice. Examined Dirk's Ring Order in episode 3 of Spirit of Justice. Presented Trucy's notebook to Athena before returning it to Trucy. Examined the Overturned Urn in front of Inga's private quarters with Apollo and Athena in episode 5 of Spirit of Justice. Looking in the true nature of ladders and step ladders. I know it gives us progress as well, so 0 out of 7. Having thoroughly examined Charlie the houseplant. Charlie's back! 0 out of 8. Okay. And then for having heard all about Apollo's situation at work. But yeah, Charlie's back. If you don't know, Charlie was Mia's plan, and I'm so glad he is here. And then what? Okay, this is the orchestra. This is just the music. Back to title. I don't know where we change the outfits actually. That's the options. Options. Okay. This is just. Okay, let's go to game selection. Let's actually start the first episode. Oh shit! Wait, we can just. This is different from the other games because we have to press Q and E to switch games, compared to the other games where there's like arrows. New game, first episode of Apollo Justice. Let's see. Let's come on. Let's go. Turnabout. Trumps. Yeah, we're on the right game. Oh shit! I was gonna do an Instagram live before stream, but I just didn't. Ooh. Ooh. These cutscenes are always so cool. These are always so cool. Showdown time. Ooh, I don't know what that means. You lose. I do not know what that means at all. I'm guessing this is, you know, the murder. This is actually quite cool. I love the cutscenes. I love the cutscenes. This is so different from the first trilogy, from the Wright trilogy. Because that just had the that was just more like I seem to be in a bit of trouble. That's just like something like that. That's just dead. Someone hit him hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. But yeah, the first game was like more just like pictures. And then this is like more, I don't know. It's where you just like, I don't know how to explain it. Panicked. Palms sway. I can admit it. I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Good morning, sir. Oh, this is Christoph. Yeah, this is Christoph. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wound up, sir? Oh, I'm loose. I'm fine. That squeaky noise. Is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial, and it's a homicide. I guess Justice doesn't start smallly, and he's a defense attorney. He's our defense attorney, I'm guessing. I'm fine. I'm going to at 5 AM to do my Cards of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your screech. I overdid it again. Maybe it's kind of perfect that I have called. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gone, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course. And so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Phoenix! It's Phoenix! It's Phoenix! Whoa! Morning. Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial. Nervous. Meeting him. Cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help. So, you're fine. I'm fine. Mr. Fine, is it? I don't remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney. He's your friend, so why? You'll see. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time, shall we? Yes, sir. Oh my god. It's Phoenix. It's Phoenix. I didn't expect we see him again so soon. Okay, I need to focus. First trial. Here comes justice. And we're up against Payne. The court is now in session. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is, fine. Ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late. Your name was Mr. Justice? This is your first trial. Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strange. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor? I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. My client has specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. but to entrust this case to this greenhorn. Why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Also, Gavin's got trial experience, fine. But does he have cause of steal? Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges. Mr. Payne, to think, I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains. Ah, Winston Payne, subtle as ever, I see. The crime occurred at the Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, whap, on the head, smack, killed him cold. A customer at the restaurant, you say, and the defendant, you say he was the pianist for the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright, a pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life, a bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is found in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record, right. I've heard of that. Use E to look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right, just use E. Something sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. Okay, let's see. So we have first of all we have our profiles. We have Christoph, we have Phoenix Wright, we have Shadi Smith, who's the victim, and we have Payne. And then we have our attorney's badge. We have the autopsy report, so he was killed around 2 a.m. That's a bit late. On April 17th. Death was caused by a single blow to the forehead. And then we have the sub-basement at the Bosch, I don't know how to pronounce it, Bosch Bowl Club. Yeah, so I'm guessing it looks like they were playing like poker or something. Then we have the weapon. We have the bottle. Bears Nick's handprint, fingerprint even. So the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this Shady Smith fellow? We believe he was a traveller, Your Honour. A traveller? According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. And he had some sort of connection with the defendant. That, too, is unclear at present, Your Honour. We believe they first met at the Bosch Bowl Club on the night of the crime. They had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing? That doesn't appear to have been the case. And plus, you two know Phoenix. You know that he wouldn't have just been ticked off by someone insulting his piano playing. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. Ah, the poker photo. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime. Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself. Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of crime. Objection! He's so based. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet, it was only that, a game in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honour. A competition? Yes, a test of wits, a certain class of passion. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again? The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honour. I believe the defence was waxing poetic waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women. That will be our first order of business here then. To find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held at the night of the crime, and my grandma's called me. That was weird. Hello, Danny! Hello, Danny. Hello. Playing Ace Attorney. We are playing live game. How's it going? It's going great. We've just started Apollo Justice. And yeah, it's going great. It's going pretty good. How's it going, Danny? How are you doing? How are you doing today, Danny? How are you doing? But yeah, we're playing a bit of Apollo Justice. We just actually started. This is the first case. This is the tutorial case of the first Apollo Justice game. I'm pretty good. Thank you. Of course. Why is my webcam being a fucking dickhead? Seriously. Test it. I swear to fucking God, this webcam. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. Indeed. Fuck's sake. I started plugging my webcam. Fuck's sake. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't fucking die. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. You know, these Ace Attorney games, make me realise that even though it's my only language, sometimes I can't say shit. I can't say words. I cannot words. You look a bit like Dan CDM. Do I actually? Because I don't think I do. But do I actually look like Dan CDM? Wait, I'm gonna get a picture of him. It might be the glasses. Maybe. I think you do a bit. Okay, I think I know like what kind of era Dan CDM you're talking about. Okay, I'm gonna save this image. And then the screen. And I need to add a layer. This one. Okay. Do you guys think so? A little bit. To the side of it. Wait. A little bit. A little bit. I can see where you could. I see it. I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it. I mean, maybe it's like the glasses and the fact that like my hair like looks more brown. I don't know whether it's just like me, but like my hair looks more brown from my webcam than like ginger. So like it's more similar to Dan's than it is IRL. Danny, you should know this, but like my hair is ginger IRL. So maybe it's just on stream that I look like more like him. Or maybe it's just the glasses as well, because we do have similar types of glasses. Maybe I can see it actually. I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it. And like this part of the nose here, like this bottom part, looks kind of similar. Oh my god. I can kind of see it. Yeah, I can kind of see it. Okay, let's get back to the other. Yeah, the nose too. Yeah, yeah, looks kind of similar. Yeah, I can actually kind of see where you're coming from. Yeah. The rules are simple. We play we play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is. A game, and our customers are happy. A pianist who can't play piano, better than a defense attorney who can't defend. Pain. You went up against Phoenix twice? 3 times? Like 2 or 3 times? From in the trilogy? He beat you. You lost every single time. You're a prosecutor who can't prosecute. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it. Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. Bullets where? It's figure of speech. It's figure of speech, just this. Your voice sounds strained and raspy too. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. Fair enough, you're a lawyer. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher course in cross-examination? No, we've done many. Right. We've done many of cross-examinations before. I can show you guys if you guys are new to Ace Attorney. No need for help, sir. I think I've got this one covered. I think you'd better do more than think. You know it or you do not. I'm fine. The cards of steel are ready for battle. I actually quite like that they were like, oh, do you want this a tutorial or not? My weapons present. Find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Inconsistencies, lies, Phoenix Wright? As if Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. I mean, he kind of would. He would in certain circumstances. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Okay, options. What's the saving system like in this game? Save. Let's save it here. You can hardly play. Oh, I play sometimes when customers demand it. So I play them one song. That's usually all I want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask. Pianist is a mask. A respectable face I wear for the world at large. And why are you really at the botch spoken? They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I'm a professional, after all. Bah! Don't accept pride in that statement. He's just half an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine. Bullshit. You're full of bullshit, Pain. He always is. Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston. What? I've played poker for 7 years in that little room, and I've never lost once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? Hold it! The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction. It has quite a history, actually. The Botched Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market? All in the past. Things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under that table. Right there in that room. A smoky room. Gambling hoods. You know, just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gathering around the table cutting deals safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through a small window. I can practically picture it now. The window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. Yeah. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they'd come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. Okay, two decks of cards. A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate two decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lines scattered on the floor. The game is ever so slightly loud. Okay, I'll turn it down. I'll turn down the effects. Let's turn it down to there. I'm going to turn down my music a tiny little bit. I don't think my music shouldn't be too loud though. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor. Is that okay, Danny? Is that okay? Each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we use two types of cards at the club. One deck of cards is red, the other blue. As I recall, in poker, you make 5-card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, the game of hands. What? The competition you're talking about. I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right. It's a simple game, after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment that the crime occurred. Yet you claim you claim no connection to the crime. Now that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right. There's something I'd like to make clear, namely the connection to the case at hand, and I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Oh, the defendant will amend his testimony, just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. That is the basis of Ace Attorney Games, my friends. Witness testimonies. I plead silence regarding murder, but I'll never say I never touched a murder. A silence? The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage. And it's your job to turn that around in our favour, yes? Right, like I didn't have enough to do already. Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony, huh? Wait, something he said did ring a little strangely. Just one thing, now what was it? When you figure it out, I suggest presenting evidence. Evidence that contradicts the testimony. A contradiction in Mr. Wright's testimony? But why? I'd better check the court record. I can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. Isn't it a little early to be jumping to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press. Right, I got it. I'm fine. Time to listen to that testimony again. I'm feeling... But I will say I never touched a murder weapon. That is a little sketchy, seeing as though this, the weapon, has his fingerprints on it. And we just got an achievement for that. I love Steam achievements. I love getting Steam achievements. So you didn't touch the murder weapon? This grape juice bottle. And I feel like I need to turn my music up ever so slightly more. Right? So I said. Something the matter, Mr. Justice? Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb. What's this, Mr. Payne? I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints. Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears. In that case. But what about my cards of steel? Chill out about your cards of steel, man. Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone would prove if he did it. Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints. Huh? The fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down. Upside down? What does that mean? It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can only be one reason for that. Whack. Yes. To brain someone with the bottle. I love the sprites in these games. They're so silly. Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worst. Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything, you see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case. I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be a reason.
Objection!
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported? Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright. But still, that... really? Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone. Near the scene? Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant. I see, and this is the phone that made the call. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative? Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being. Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about... What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment that the crime occurred? How can you possibly know this? That's a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness. You're as good as they say you are. So someone else was in the room the night of the crime. That must mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up until now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Yaha! Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. Here is our first witness. The witness will state her name and profession. Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness? I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns. So I used that little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off. You sure? I swear on my gavel. Please come out. Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor? Well, if you're sure it is, okay. Now, the prosecution. Wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's paraphernalia? How can I say paraphernalia but not other words that are much simpler to say in this series? Yes. She is a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade. And that would be, my name is Olga Orley. I am employed as waitress in Borch Bowl Club restaurant. Then why the camera? Of course it is my pride to serve Borch that is naming restaurant. I also perform, how's it said, other service. I take it one of those other services is taking the customer's pictures. Dada. Like for example, this one. That's the defendant and the victim. Indeed, on the night of the murder. The man in white hat is one who has gone kaput. Indeed, that is the victim. Order, order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop into our laps. It is the same way as I drop cold bowls of botch in the laps of customers. Casually. Then the court will casually accept this new evidence. Now, witness. Where were you at the time of the murder? I was in room. The hideout, we call it. Excuse me, the hideout? It is room where a famous gangster bad guy was arrested. It's room where a murder took place. What? You look of utter surprise. It is lovely. I will post by courtroom door later for you. Dada, photos will be numbered, and you will write which ones you want a copy of. So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley, our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means it was Olga? Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about that night's events. That night, customer asked me to deal cards for a game. It was cold, both players played with hats on, The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on locket at his neck. Then, last night is done, but something terrible has happened, That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death. Strangulation? It was blunt force, wasn't it though? Incidentally, who won the game? Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith. That's ridiculous. Because Mr. Wright can't lose. Justice. Maybe you come up with a more legitimate objection. But he hadn't lost in 7 years. Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case in my first 7 years as prosecutor either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here. I still don't know what that means. These are poker chips as they lay the very moment of the crime. The hands and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith. Chips, you say? Yes. Imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils. I know that. After all, in my youth I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3. I think he means poker face. Looking at this picture, it does seem that the most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table. We're just getting piece of evidence after piece of evidence. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. It's time for us to save. Save complete. Okay. Okay, I can easily present the autopsy report. That's evidence. Oh really? Strangled, you say? That's odd. Normal customers only choke on botch. No, this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. Miss Orley, really now? Did you witness the crime? Did she actually witness the crime? I don't think so. Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything. Yeah, it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation. But that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at a victim with his neck. Oh really, Miss Ollie? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice. I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What do you mean? I find a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much too. He hit him with bottle.
Hold it!
He didn't say anything about hitting before. So sorry. I must be forgetting this, da. Witness, you will take greater care of your testimony. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. And that clears up the discrepancy with the autopsy report, I believe. The defendant was made to strangle his victim, then changed his mind. And chose a simpler, blunter means to do the job. Yes, that sums it up nicely. So he strangled him, then hit him. Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead, I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir, leave it to me. There are only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, I've got you now, Ollie. So... There's no, like, strangulation marks. Should we present this crime scene first? See what happens? Oh shit. Your Honor, what do you think about this? What is this thing? Oh shit. Oh yeah, contradicts the, I thought. He does have very sharp, Mr. Justice. Objection overruled. I think that would be points for the judge. Let's try and press every other piece of her testimony and see. Not present.
Hold it!
You're dealing cards. Do you do this often? That, I'm doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Botch, cards, more botch. It is my work. It's good to hear of a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service. Well, welcome you to Botch Bowl Club, where Botch is as warm as the waitresses. Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. Hats on. They both had their hats on. Nothing contradicts that. No, I don't want to present anything. That's some information. It's already April. How could it be so cold? How could it be cold? At Botch Bowl Club, we have pride on our authentic rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside it's a city in spring, but inside it is always as cold as Mother Russia. No way am I going there. When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning, da.
Hold it!
His locket. I believe it was good luck charm, da. He gripped it many times as he played that night. Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it was small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift. The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about. I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket. Of course, I knew that. It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's what she called it that. No, a locket's a locket. Doesn't matter what it is. It's considered bad form to poke fun are the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding. So what's happening next? So what happened next? Wait, did he even wear one? Wear a pendant? Let me closer examine. He did. He did wear one. But he didn't wear one in that crime scene photo. Interesting. That is interesting. Welcome in. Welcome in. How are you? Something terrible. The defense will refrain from needless shouting. Sorry, I need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing. Rara, Rasputin. Now, Miss Ollie, can you tell us what happened? Oh, I was so frightened that I trembled with fear. The defendant tried to strangle the victim. He hit him with a bottle. Wait, wouldn't the bottle have smashed if it were... Wouldn't the bottle have smashed if it hit him?
Objection!
Oh shit. This evidence clearly there's a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are the evidence and the statement just now related? They aren't, are they? Shit. That's all. Mr. Justice, please recover the facts before making accusations. No one really points over the judge. See, the thing is, welcome on in, Shinobi. Welcome on in. Thank you for that love. He hit him with a bottle. See, it doesn't say in the autopsy report that there was any. I feel like you've earned a law degree already by playing these. Literally, I probably have. Literally, I've played the entirety of the Phoenix Wright Trilogy. I've played 2 cases from Chronicles, and I'm on the first case of Apollo Justice. I swear, I should get a law degree. I should get that law degree. Didn't try to strangle victim. He hit him with bottle. Is it autopsy report again? I don't think so. I don't think it's autopsy report. It's clearly a faulty, Your Honor. I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. Hey guys, Mr. Justice. I must be on the wrong track. I feel like it's on this statement. Let's see what stuff. What else do you need to do? First, I'll leave it to you. Only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shane Smith, Mr. Wright, and then Mr. Wright isn't the killer. You know, Ollie. Then last time is done, but something terrible has happened. Why am I stuck on the tutorial? This is the tutorial, okay, so I'm stuck on this. Play with the hats on. I'm gonna look at the evidence. Let's see. Must have been cold. Well, au revoir for now. I shall lurk a while. But a cup of tea to be made. Alright, thank you for the lurk, Matt. His hat's on. A contradiction there. His hand on locket as his neck. No locket there. And then there's a locket there. Oh wait. Maybe he wasn't trying to strangle him. Maybe it was just simply... Thank you for the lurk, Danny. But yeah, maybe he was trying to take the... Yo, someone is lurking. Someone is lurking. Yeah. Maybe he's trying to take the locket. So...
Objection!
This. I don't think I'll hold it. Wait, can I? I can't analyze this. You know what, let me save here because we have done like a little bit of cross-examining and I don't want to lose this bit of save. Let's see. Let's press her again. You didn't say about him. Oh, so sorry, I must be forgetting this. When it's you'll take greater care of your testimony. Sorry, Anna. I'm gonna close up. And hit him. Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead, I believe you know. I'm just gonna look this up, this one testimony to see. Bro, I am totally stumped on this one bit. Let's see. Let's see, okay. I had the right idea about something about the locket. Let's present crime photo 2. Not look at it, not fully examine it. Let's present it. You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on locket at his neck, I believe she said. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean? If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean the defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all? He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Ah, yes it would. It would explain it. Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say yes. I just noticed this, but you have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. So Mr. Wright has a locket too? I don't buy that this is just a coincidence. Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost, badly. Miss Arley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant. Da. The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, da, it was victim. For last time, the defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and almost dropped right. Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game. As the court knows, poker was the defendant's light. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow. How many times have I heard those words? I don't know, in a state of anger yet, Your Honour, and I regret it. A common tale, but true. Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. Let's do another save. Always save at the start of a cross-examination. Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used? No, not special. Usual game, usual rules. If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be exactly 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division. It's just simple maths. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Da, of course. Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? Yes. Maybe you could explain a bit more about these chips? Explain? What is there to be explained? Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fishing chips. Not a chip off the old block, not a motorcycle cop, not a... Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, I'd better ask him something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even? Yet, as I have been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for a capitalist to understand. Two types of chips. 100 points chips and 1,000 point chips. It is not money, Dad. Just this? Sir, don't you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to her testimony myself. Well, does the defense want the witness to add to her testimony? Yes. Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this. Very well, witness, if you would be so kind. Your Honour. Other kindness worth 1,000, 2 kindness out. So let's look at the... let's look at this one. This is a better photo. So I'm guessing the smaller ones are 100 points. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 600 points. I'm guessing the larger ones are 1,000 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10,600. Let's present this. That testimony? Bit fishy. You sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure. It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won, if you're not in kindergarten. Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honour. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points? Why, the big ones, of course, duh. Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up. The totals? Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined total values of the chips was 7,000 points. Yes, if my calculations are correct, let's see. 3 plus 1 carries 5. There, Your Honour. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up, how much is it? So do it yourself, you aren't in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. Chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony. But why? How could this be? Exactly just this. Now you know the what, you must determine the why. Right, there's only one possible way to explain the contradiction. The count was one? What cares the number of chips? Right, Mr. Gavin. Why are you asking me? Just in case? Just this. It's your case I'm concerned about. If you're wondering about the chips, just look at the photograph, it's all there. Even our judge, with his failing eyesight, could count them. That's not the only thing failing the judge. Let me ask you again. Right. The starting point was wrong. This calculation makes the answer clear. If the total was combined points at the table was 10,600, then each man started the night with 5,300 points. 5,300. That's another half-baked score at which to start a game. Just this. Would different starting points really change anything? It seems the defense's objective was even more popular than the score. Let's head back into the kitchen. Right, there's only one possible both were right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer. And what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around. What? Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones. Madness, madness. Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up. Yeah, that does make more sense. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it all out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it. But wait, the value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing. Indeed, the victim did have the largest number of chips still. Ah, exactly. But let me count them up again. Let me look at the court record. So we have 4,100 and one. Oh wait, no, that's 2,900. So it'll be Wright that would have been winning, not Smith. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points and the defendant had 4,100 points. Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all. That's impossible. My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning. Now, Miss Ollie, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there to see the crime. Weren't you? Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat even never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust the witness's testimony yet. Excuse me? What is it, Miss Ollie? I didn't know what to be saying this, but actually you see what, Miss Ollie? What do we see? In the last hand, there was cheating? A cheat? You don't mean a trick? Wait, or do you mean a scam? They are the same thing. Yes, there was cheating last hand. That is why a game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn for the interesting. Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. The last hand, both men had full house. There is 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Next moment, game becomes argument. The defender's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand, poor Mr. Smith. I feel like this game would be much more easier if you actually understood poker. I have never played poker, and I do not understand poker. So, yeah, Miss Ollie, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. I'm just taking my phone up trying. Well, folks, it's time to go back. Shit! My phone fell out my tripod. Because I'm using it to, like, more easily, like, monitor my screen. It just fell. Yeah, I don't really like this tripod all too much. But I should buy a new one. A new tripod at some point. Also, I have two, and I haven't really used the other one really that much. So yeah, I can try using the other one at some point. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. Full House is a very high-scoring card, not easy to make in my experience. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin, what's a full house? Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker? Let's have a look. Okay, it doesn't show Apollo in thingy profiles, but like Apollo's just like early 20s. Like, nah, I don't know if a lot of people know poker unless you regularly go to like places that like play poker, like are around people that regularly play poker. I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring? Yeah, just this. You know the terms 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards of the same number make a pair, and the 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. Oh, so matching numbers. It doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo. So, full house and full house. Yeah, they both have full houses. We forget there's an easy way to make a full house. And go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat. The defense may cross-examine the witness. God, what? This fucking tripod is a fucking mistake. For fuck's sake, I hate this tripod so much. And I accidentally turned the sound up on my phone. It's this fucking case. I have to stand up this way. I have to stand it up vertically instead of horizontally, and I accidentally turned my phone off. I hate this tripod. I now know why I don't really use tripods all that much. If you did cheat in the last hand, that leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Unless Smith also cheated. Okay, it's time we save again. What is this, like our 3rd testimony? Now I understand why this game is called. Now I understand why this trial is called Tender Mouth Trump. Because of the term trump card. Full house, there's 12 each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Let's question her about it. How was it clear? Well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace. Oh, a 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Let's have a look. So we have 2 aces here. We have 2 aces here. So we have a red ace of diamonds. We have this ace here. I don't know which one, what this is called. A red ace of hearts, and then ace of clovers. I never know what this one is called, actually. Like, Usually. I know this obviously Ace of Spades. Oh wait, no, this is Ace of Spades. This is Ace of Spades. I'm not gonna lie, I always think this is called Ace of Spades as well. But then I realized, oh wait, no, that's not Ace of Spades. I wonder what do other people, other like countries call this card? Cause I'm kind of used to it being called Ace of Clovers. Still remember both hands very well. Mrs. Smith's hands had 3 aces. Oh! Mr. Wright's 2. Obviously cheating was a foot. Or perhaps I should say a hand. Maybe it was Smith that was cheating. Your Honour, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without paying Mr. Payne's joke. Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. 2 aces and Mr. Wright's 2 had 5 aces. A 5th ace? That. It should not exist, no? I still remember both hands very well. Wait, didn't they use 2 decks of cards? So, and there's 4 of each, like, there should have been 4 aces per deck, so 8 aces in total, so 5 aces being in like 2 hands, would have been possible. Rare, probably, but possible, yeah. Mr. Smith hands have 3 aces, and Mr. Wright's 2. Well, where did this card come from then? Perhaps we should ask the defendant that very question. Adding cards to a deck is no less serious than a taboo than forging evidence in a court of law. Now, perhaps it's time for you to say something, Justice. You bet. I've no intention of staying quiet. Not me, no sir. But I find some contradicting evidence. Fast. Yeah, they had 2, didn't they? Now I wish we could add phoenixes. I wish we could add phoenixes. Wait, do we present this one? Okay, I'm saving here. But, history, options. I'm saving here because we only have 1 penalty point left before we lose the entire case. And we have to start over. Let's present this crime photo.
Objection!
Shit! Your Honor. Shit. I was listening to the tutorial case. I mean, at least we get to see the ending. That's enough. So you don't need to further prolong this trial. The defense's case is insufficient to overturn the prosecution's claims. This court finds the defendant Phoenix Wright guilty. Why am I losing the tutorial case? The defendant will surrender himself to the court's care. So the court in a regular trial at the High Court within a month's time. Court is adjourned. Resume. A save. Right here. But yeah, Wright did tell us that there were 2 decks.
Objection!
It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name is... Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice. Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Take that!
Of course, it's where? What is it that you're pointing? What, good question. Sorry, Diana. I really skip this. Let's find out your point again. Contradicts the witness's testimony. Let's see. Smith handed 3 aces and Mr. Wright has 2. Here.
Take that!
Yeah. Miss Ollie, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces. As you can clearly say, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. We don't have room for confusion here. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the first question. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's this 5th ace? I see cheating, alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces in total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please, it is true. I've seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts, Mr. Gavin. Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honour, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. The cards? Mr. Payne. Yes? The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defence would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? These cards don't prove cheating. What's going on? Nothing well. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? I'm going to go with the victim's. It was the victim's hands that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defence will request time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well. Well, time's wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, sir. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using the arrow keys to turn it every which way and use the B&M to zoom in and out. That should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I can just use the mouse. Oh! That is suspicious. What? Your Honour, look at this. One of the victim's cards, the back is a different colour. Eh? That's impossible. I put that card in Wright's hands. What was that, Miss Ollie? No, yet. I merely said, I have. Your Honour? Mr. Gavin, yes. Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I'll tell you. 1 million needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say, the dealer. Wait, so you mean this witness, Miss Ollie? She's a cheater, a professional, I'd wager. Yeah, she's a cheater, alright. Order! Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. Of her mistake. Your Honour, perhaps recall the testimony we just heard. That's impossible. I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Ollie conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His name is a bit shady. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Ollie, are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Ollie, of murder. Mr. Payne, Where's your witness, Miss Olga Arlen? It appears she has lost consciousness, Your Honor. Mr. Justice. Your Honor, it seems you've presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time. What? I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing now? Think, one of the cards had a different coloured back. Don't you wonder why it means? There were 2 decks of cards. What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous. Mr. Payne, you of all people should know, Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. He does. It's in his nature. We learned that from the Phoenix Wright Trilogy. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night. As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night. That was said before. Yes. The 2 decks at the club had different coloured backs, blue and red, 1 colour per deck. Why use different coloured backs? If we use the same colour, the 2 decks might get mixed. You use different colours and it still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I had this impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever, in the end, 1 card of the wrong colour got into the mix, which means there was cheating. Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yes, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks for the news bulletin, right? Of course it was swapped. What? Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne. Or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When the cards swapped to the deck? I'm saving here. Maybe it was after the murder to when Wright was calling the police so that Olga could be like, this establishes a motive for Wright and makes him look slightly more guilty than me. I'm saying after the murder. Perhaps it happened after the murder? What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown, silly?
Objection!
Yes, tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible. Yes, exactly. Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible. Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different colour? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder. Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. Ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? He would do that. He would indeed. That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped a red card for a blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only 2 remain in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Arley. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue one? Olga. Well, it must have been Olga Arley who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover up evidence of the cheating. No, she was trying to cover up the murder. That doesn't make sense. Sorry, but there's a problem with that explanation. Huh? The swapped card was from the wrong deck. Yes, a blue card was stuck into a red hand, mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colours. Remember that you're talking about Olga Arle? She was the dealer. Do you really think she would make such a novice mistake? Actually, I'm having trouble imagining even the judge making that mistake. Give me a little bit of thought, Apollo. Right. I'm gonna see what's it that swapped. Someone else. No one swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. Well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Arle either. What are you suggesting? That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Arle at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong coloured card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Heh. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun this is. Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant and it wasn't Miss Arle, then who was it? Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find out indeed after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. That someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong colour card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know two colours of cards were being used, and the other's mistake was the number on the card. Right. The person who replaced the fifth ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All I knew was that the game had been won with a full house, so they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True, no until now. We have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. What? I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial has proceeded on one central assumption, namely that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during my recess. Certainly, Your Honour. Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. So to suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that? I must ask, is this the truth? Well now, I think you would know the answer to that. Ah, being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defendant to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I can't guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Christoph. Just this? Yes, sir. The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? Are you wondering about the victim's disappearing locket? Here, you can have a look at it. There's a picture of my daughter in there. Oh, it's baby Juicy. Baby Juicy. Juicy Wright is great. I'm surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did? It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I never, honest, but it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Huh? You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like a trial law. Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Oh yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding. That witness, for instance, Miss Arley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who'd notice that? Words, habits, twitches, it's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. Guessing Christoph? But I'm not worth it. I mean, maybe Mia actually is talking about maybe even Mia or Christoph. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know yet. What's he talking about? But you will, soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it! I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cards are still with that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. To be continued. Now go save. Yes, save my current progress. Continue to the next chapter. Yes. Now I need to go put my thingy, my work uniform on the radiator. I'll be 5 minutes. I'll be a few minutes, but I'm gonna put Wizard Stream on. I think that's the wrong link. Let's see. Okay, how do I say it? Twitch. Okay, got it. Whatever. Okay. Not wrong screen. Wrong screen. This stuck to me. Okay. I shall start it and I shall be back soon. Need starter settings. Settings. Yes. Autopilot. Okay, I shall be Okay, I am back chat. Let's not game of words with friends. I'm gonna check my Discord notifications, and then we shall get into the second half of this case. And yeah, I need to change it over to Apollo Justice. There we go. Back. Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga Ollie, recovered? Yes, Your Honor. Oh well, she's regained consciousness. Perhaps we can hear her version of events again? That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued. You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Ollie take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poorer loser. Whoa, no need to be so harsh. No. Name's Olga Ollie. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quickfingers Ollie. Oh really? Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like oh really? There, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Witness, you will tell the court what you were really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see? Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Fine. Oh, this is taking a turn. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was plotted at the Bosch Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game as a waitress, so you were in cahoots with the victim. Not that you needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning was the main purpose of the game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple. Elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were called, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. He swapped the cards. Exposed as a cheater and then losing on top of it, it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Indeed, getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins. A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Oh really, Ollie? How droll. But it appears that you made quite a mistake. A mistake? I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right. He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to slip free from a trap laid by Olga or Quickfingers Ollie. Oh really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick. Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute, I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court? Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. Finally getting into probably the best part of the trial. That night I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no good cheating defendant. You're the one cheating though. It's a surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark. The trap was perfect, I tell you. Perfect. If that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking. Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice. With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? With a cross-examination, yeah. Okay, let's save before we actually start cross-examining. Oh, we got our penalty points filled back up. The trap failed.
Hold it!
Let me ask, how's your eyesight? Just who do you think you're talking to? You don't call me quick fingers for nothing. I'm a pro, which means my dealing's pro, and my eyesight is pro. Uh-huh, really? Honestly, she'd have to be blind as a bat to miss something in that small room. No, but Mr. Wright didn't have a motive to hit the victim. Different personality, but the same testimony. I believe you have her where you want her, Justice. The circumstances have changed, yet her testimony has not. That means there's got to be a contradiction in there. White.
Hold it!
Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing, which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well, oh. What was that just now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Yes! I need to know what that was. Miss Ollie, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You? Me? Quick fingers Ollie? Hide something? The defense will refrain from baseless accusations. I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendants hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Wright hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it. What's this word 5 I'm getting? That witness, for instance, Miss Ollie, she would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Keep going, Apollo. We've got to keep going. Touching her neck, was it? Whoa, what's going on? This sensation is coming into focus. There, that twitch is so clear. It's like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before.
Gotcha!
Maybe she's hiding the card, like, under her hair. Miss Ollie, perhaps you're unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I didn't notice anything of the sort. When she says that part of the testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about? This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us. Her habit scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her of the moment? What would remind her most of the moment of the crime? Miss Ollie, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I notice that happens when you think about the moment of crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an erasable impression of your neck is this. Well, it's obviously this. Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. It reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon. Well, something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What's he talking about now? It was Mr. Smith, the victim who was here, not you. This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits? They're completely irrelevant. Justice? I'll admit, I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Mr. Ollie, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. Yet, I am knowing nothing. We know you're not Russian. The witness will testify, please, now. Bah, fine. I didn't let out my sight until the cops got there. That is bullshit, and we all know it. Miss Ollie, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. We know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Barge Bowl Club. So explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Yes, exactly. The man who picked up a bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant. Who was it then? Was it you, perhaps? These cutscenes, man. These are great. I love the cutscenes. You dirty cheat. Check his pockets now. It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to Wright, and he hit me. Oh! You, some master of cheating you turned out to be. When I came to, the victim was already dead. Is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If I came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. Well, where does this leave us? Madness. This is madness. I'm dreaming. It must have been me who was hit with a bottle, and I'm imagining all of this. It appears our prosecution is at his wits' end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir, I believe that as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Ollie a big fat liar. What? Three were in that room the night of the murder. The defendant, victim, and her. But she has a motive. A motive? Her plot failed. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder. What? I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me. Uh-huh. Phoenix, what tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive? Nice rhyme. Nice rhyme. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright, such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hands after the murder. And the one who swapped the cards didn't know two colours of cards were being used. A fourth person. Ha, this theory again. Your fourth person doesn't exist. Indeed, that's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? And when I look, A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us, and right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Remember what I said? The fourth person who swaps the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the colours on the backs of the cards. Called. Right, but how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there is one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. So red-blue colourblind? Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? It's not me, I swear. Who is this fourth person? Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards were used in the final game were blue? Huh. Was it shady?
Take that!
Apollo, do you seriously think that? I think I'm seriously confused. I'm seriously sorry. That didn't go well. Well, it can't be helped. I almost missed it myself, but it doesn't do anyone any good to turn their eyes away from the truth, does it, Christoph? Mr. Gavin? You don't mean... Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But, of course Mr. Gavin knows the colours of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. But look, you can see the colours in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yeah, it was only that, a game in the purest sense, a competition, Your Honor. A competition? Yes, a test of the wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in a blue flame, know its final outcome. Oh! That makes a lot more sense, yeah. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me, it was just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? No, Christoph? You know, even I'd never take a joke this far. This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder? I assure you, I'm quite sane. Really? Really? We played as you for... Okay, there was 14 cases. Okay, we played as you for 12 cases. And in one of those cases we did in Psssttt, we played for you for 14 cases. So that was like 14 trials because there was no investigation only cases in the original trilogy. So 14 cases. We played 12 cases out of those because 2 of those were flashbacks for Mia, and there's only one investigation of all those trials. And wait, how many out of those cases? Like 10 of them were investigations and trials. 4 of those cases were trial only, I think. That being first turnabout, lost turnabout, beginnings and memories, right? And then beginnings and memories were the ones where we played as Mia. So, and then one of those investigations for Bridge, like the second half of the first investigation for Bridge was where we played as Edgeworth. So it's like, come on now, we know you, Phoenix. But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met. Well, what if they have? Huh? There's a possibility after all. They may have met that night before the game even started. What are you suggesting? Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? What only thing to do? Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you
Objection!
support. The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin, testimonies was related to the case. How could anything happening before that game of poker be relevant? I mean, it could be. Could be relevant. I'm not sure I follow Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss Arley, and I assure you speak for Mr. Justice in this, he is the defense, not you. I really need to sneeze, jeez. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony? Yes. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along, and I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. At you, Justice? You would betray me, your teacher? I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Gavin, Christoph is so fucking shady. He's so shady. Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin. Oh. Mr. Gavin, you were at the Barch Bowl Club the night of the murder? I dealt with him rather frequently. And you talked to the defendant on the phone directly on the murder? After the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in the murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. And I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favour when we took you on your defence. It appears I was wrong. Very well. The defence may cross-examine the witness. Justice. Sir, he's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Oh my god. This is annoying. This code is so fucking annoying. Save first. Let's save. Let's save like 17 minutes ago. Police.
Hold it!
Let's press him on his last statement. Could you explain why you conned Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously got involved in a rather sticky affair. I figured Christoph's law offices would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Christoph. It was I who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him. Now. Yes, sir. I have to think what's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with his testimony. The truth has to be in there somewhere. So I take a photograph. Let's see. I'm gonna say
Objection!
Oh, fuck. Yeah, contracts, blah, 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 blah. But I still want to press him on every single statement before we make a determined decision. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he dines with me at the Barch Bowl Club quite frequently. We were enjoying our usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. I always eat at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting. So the plates and such on the table were from your dinner? Indeed, the remnants of my meal were Christoph. We dined for 2 hours, then Christoph left. After that, Shady walked in 5 minutes later.
Hold it!
5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time. That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure. Why are you on pain? Oh, Mr. Wright, what was it you said? Christoph Gavin and Shady Smith may have met? I believe I did say that. Here I was all nervous about this meeting, and now we hear they just passed in the hall. That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. Oh, it would be if that were all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. Why are you hiding this time?
Hold it!
About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga Ollie mentioned. The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. You swap the cards. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card you planted. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might have happened, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I'd been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice. The murder weapon? Potentially? Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in there. The coloured glass made it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like a terrific drama. A card inside the murder weapon? That's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3, approves of this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information. Let's take a look. There's nothing in there though. Bottle is completely empty. Yeah, let's present it to Wright. Let's present it to Nick. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes. I've examined the bottle and I don't see any card in here. No? What, Mr. Wright? Surely isn't all you can say for yourself? What did he say? Surely isn't all you have to say for yourself? I can't say I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a 5th person came and took it out? Oh, and a 6th person could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor. You snarky little dickhead. I wouldn't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? Maybe someone stole it. Maybe Olga stole it. In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh, push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? Yeah, it feels much more Christoph versus Wright than Christoph and Wright and Apollo.
Hold it!
You made the call to the police from the 1st floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones still get signals down in the hideout. Was there anyone else on the first floor at that time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all. Oh yeah, it was 2 a.m. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. Wait, why was he having dinner at like just before 2 a.m.? That's a bit weird. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone.
Hold it!
And when you returned, the victim was already dead, yes. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in. A little? He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that.
Hold it!
Could you explain where you called Mr. Gavin? We already... really went over this bit. Yeah, the truth has to be somewhere. Trapped and dispose of the card in the bottle. What was the card again? It was the Summon of Hearts, right? It was a hearts card. It was like hearts or something. There's a hearts card there. I can't tell. That's a diamonds card. I can tell that. That's a diamonds card, I think. I can't tell if it's the 8 of hearts though. Let's have a little look-see through more of the evidence. Oh, there's a note or something. Oh, the battery is being held in with a piece of tape. He should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it, or he just doesn't care. Interesting. Can we see? Okay, let's zoom in. I don't think we can take off the piece of tape. Let's present. Should we present this on?
Objection!
That won't work though. That won't work though. That's a code and Smith is uncontrollable. I have to call the police. Wait. Let's present.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, if I may, yes. Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Yeah, just this. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? Ah, I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. Eh? You put the hat on the dead man's head? He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view, shining bright just like in this photograph. And I picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head. But why'd you do a thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. That's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So, Miss Ollie didn't see it. It being the victim's, his head. I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Ah, here we go again, Mr. Gavin. Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin, this witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Christoph. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Eh? He just hasn't told the whole truth. It's like he missed out some details, but technically he never lied, I guess. When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with Defense Attorney Gavin after calling the police, just in case I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Christoph, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him. Hard. I mean, someone craps that flawless bone china plate? Isn't that meant china plate? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please. The cop should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Bone china plate? Yeah, I was right. A kind of porcelain. Very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but paint. Oh! I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Well, wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Bosch Bowl Club? Most certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see his bone china plate? Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene, and when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it, Phoenix Wright? What's going on, Nick? What's going on, Christoph? Order! I would have order. Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor? I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony? Well, as the prosecutor, Well, very well. We'll break for 10 minutes, after which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honor. Very well. This will be the final recess for the day. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? May I?
It's Trucy!
Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please, pick a card. What's all this about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely and the game is yours. That's all. An ace? Where do I remember that card from? The crime scene. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces and Mr. Wright says 2. It is 5 aces in all. It is true, I have seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. The missing 5th ace? Wait, this splotch of red. Is this blood? I presume so. You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hand. I know you can do it. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth. Yes. I fell deep into my thoughts as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl, I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. She was in the locket. She's the girl in the locket. Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Crystal Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. Will the witness state his name and occupation? It is fast necessary, Your Honor. Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom, like the time we cross-examined a parrot. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have had an inordinate interest in it.
Objection!
I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright, what do you think you're doing, Wright? Well, things look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit. When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, he would have had to been there in the hideout at the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer, is what you're saying. Not bad, Apollo. Mr. Gavin, I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright, by making him guilty of murder. Yeah, I'm afraid in the current situation, I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best of place for me to be at the time, so I left. That's when the call came from Wright. But didn't he leave 5 minutes before Smith came into the hideout? So you witnessed the murder? For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team? Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell him you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that because that was the only probable window of the opportunity, right, Apollo? Yeah. Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Cross-examination time! What is this, like our 5th, 6th cross-examination of the case? This is only the tutorial. Imagine how many we'll get in the other cases. In the longer cases. And like the final cases are the DLC cases. Not to be confused with the DL6. Let's question him. Oh wait, can we present? phone call maybe? Oh, we can't present the... Let's press him, but we can't present anyone else's testimony. But I swear he said he left that before Smith came to the hideout. That man, you mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that. So then you knew the true nature of your client's job? Of course, but I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends after all. Away from my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared that this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score. I see. What happened then? Place. Stand as you appear in the photo. Let me look at the photo. Okay, you would be able to see the victim from the window. Unconscious girl. Right, holding a bottle in his hand. Why wouldn't he call the police though? Because he would have been like grounded. So it would have signal. Would it have been better to wait for the police to arrive? Remember though, by that time I was already in Wright's defense attorney. It wouldn't do for me to become part of the investigation. That makes sense. Or does it? I'm confused. Well, what happened next?
Hold it!
Where were you when the phone call came? I'd already left the Barch Bowl Club by that time. On the phone he asked me to defend him. Naturally, I was surprised. I accepted, however I couldn't abandon him. So kind of you. So far everything jives with Mr. Wright's testimony, I think. Is it going to be a problem for you to cross-examine your own boss? I'm fine. It wasn't that taught me that to never pull punches in cross-examinations. It was you, Mr. Gavin. I learned it from watching you.
Hold it!
How do you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout justice. I was just getting to that part in my testimony. Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West. We know and love. Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. With friends like these, who needs enemies?
Hold it!
The little window. You mean the one you used to keep watch up the stairs? It's a relic of the ancient past. The black marketers used it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier just to open the door and go into the room? I don't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, well, my fears had been unfounded. We'd be walking in on that match. Bad fog, to say the least. So far, I think he's saying makes sense. In which photo, though? In this photo, or crime scene 2? I'm guessing he means crime scene 2. I meant crime photo 2. Clearly. Bald head, unconscious girl, and right bottle in his hand.
Objection!
No. Let it go well now. Okay, let's save now. Let's see.
Hold it!
Did I question this one? This was the only three at the scene of the crime. Yes, as far as I saw at least. And we're back on where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police? 2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
Objection!
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice. I just said what? I just said I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright has said. I asked the mysterious fourth person, who would conveniently be the real person. Real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. What do you want to ask? Tell me. I'll tell you what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hand? How you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? I can show something I can't find myself. Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the fifth ace. The fifth ace, right. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card that has been raised, can you point to a reason? Yes, we can. We have the fifth ace. It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. We got given the ace from Trilogy. Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. The fifth ace. Let me show you. The fifth ace. My reason is this. Is that an ace? Why? Why it's got blood on it? It's right next to the spade. What? This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why? Could this be the missing fifth ace? It sure is. Inconceivable. How could you... What are you doing with that card? Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card is mine. That is, I picked it up at the boat club that night after the murder occurred. You're looking really suspicious, you know about that, right? I gave it to my doctor. Cards are her stock and trade after all. No, impossible, unacceptable. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. You guys have in a trap now, Christoph. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Take another look at this photo and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell on the floor and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down to the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime is to conceal evidence? Oh, we could discuss the finer points of our legal system later. Also, this card wasn't really relevant at like the start of the case. It's only recently in the development of this case that it's actually become relevant. So it most likely wouldn't have been accepted at the start of this case because it wasn't relevant. But now it's relevant, so it now has to be accepted. I think in this universe there's 2 like rules of evidence law. I can't remember the first one, but I know. Oh wait, I know the first one. It's that I think it's that it goes along the something along the lines that the card has to be like the evidence has to be accepted by the police or like the prosecution office or something along those lines. The second rule of evidence law in this world in Japanifornia, as Ace Attorney fans lovingly call the country in which these games reside, is that the evidence must be relevant to the case. And so this card wouldn't have been accepted earlier in the case because it wasn't relevant to the case. We, at the start of this case, we did not know that one of the cards had been switched out. But now, as we've, discussed and provided evidence that that card had been switched out, and we were like, oh, it was an ace card. Where did that ace card go? This feels like one of the best point as to, you know, reveal the card. And plus, we didn't have the card at this point before, you know, before the second recess when Trilogy gave it to Apollo. So, yeah. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see.
Objection!
This is baseless conjecture. Baseless.
Objection!
Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really. How a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime in your head. Ooh, 3D visualization. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table, and before the killer swapped a card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene. Well, what is it? Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram does not fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses. The second witnesses, whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card? Oh shit. I did not save. Oh shit. Oh shit, I have not saved and I can't get to options to save. Shit. Who? I'm gonna look this up so I don't fuck this up. Great. I don't want to fuck this up, so turn about Trump. Let's go to wait. Let's go to Trilogy. Let's see. Okay. It was the victim. Well, it isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him? Ah, take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards. Well, that's right, so what does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. Oh, that's cool. The chair was facing the other way. This is so cool, I like the new features. It would have to be. So we have to assume at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We now know the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder, but this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Paul, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? I'm actually going to save right here. Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim was facing away? The killer.
Take that!
The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front, sitting where his indicator currently is? I would think it'd be quite hard, yes. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of the game? I believe a sufficient reason will so soon come to light. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram. What? But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's think it through, see what we find. We know the victim was facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. What would the killer have to be striking our victim from the front? It would have to be like here. Well, I guess the killer would have to be here. Anything to say, Mr. Justice? Sorry, a little late for that penalty, and we lost. Final penalty. We can go from our last save, though. Receive from a save game. We saved 2 minutes ago, so should be fine. Okay, we'll have to skip over this bit. It was the killer's position that was wrong. Let's save here and much more closer to when it comes up. Victim that while is sitting as shown here, or his assailant be standing to the diagram. Facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. He would have to be standing here. You can't be standing well here. You get points for flair, but that's about all you get. It's how stunned to something there too. How did you point out that standing there would be impossible? Yeah, it would be. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Yeah. Oh, are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above? Ha! It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know. At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there. What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation. Right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send a team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard. Ah, Your Honor? What? There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here, which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been shown as shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my! What's this? What is it now? Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. Time for another save. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh dang. Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Which indicator in this diagram contradicts what we know about the crime? It would be the second witness, because he would have been able to look through the window. About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs. That's right, something standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What? What did you say? Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, but the windows to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where did you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor. Order. This is a court of law and I will have order. We just now received word from our investigative team at the Ball Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh, and what did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it. What? Ooh. Ah yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort earlier. Before even, this is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. I do remember him saying something about that now that he mentions it. A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal goings-on. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. The room has a secret passage. Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of botch, no doubt. Just like our killer. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something. Dare I ask what really happened that night? Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mrs. Smith, a date with destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. But why did you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. Miss Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer sneaked out from the secret passage and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look and he was whacked in the forehead. After the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor, and the fact that they were all red. We've got you now, Gavin. We've got you now, Christoph. Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne? Yes, Your Honour. The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Ooh. Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately.
Objection!
What do you mean, objection? Fuck you mean, objection? Oh, no need to apologise. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honour, I'm shocked. That a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlour trick. Excuse me? The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honour. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. Was it illegal, though? And not just anyone else, but me, his own defence attorney. Illegal evidence? Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course, this bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking? How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? Not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne? Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were upside down. I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court in this case demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down, and that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honour? I see how the caught fish swims to the last. Well, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still, but I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation, just like that. Yeah, just like what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to... I'll let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is that really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words? It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions, indeed. Well, Mr. Justice, Mr. Gavin said that the court on this case demand an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? What evidence do we have? I'm going... Can I not? I can't. Thingy. Oh wait, would you have picked it up like that? I can't.
Take that!
It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honour. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me, on the floor? Yes, now reach down and pick it up without getting out of your chair. Ah. See, you naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck with your fingers upside down. Look at the photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times. Oh, I can't believe it was that simple. Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed, but then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano, and you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. Oh god, it's the worst. Order, order, order. What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin? Come on, Gavin. Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle? Where is your proof? Proof? Well, that's as I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor. When you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation? Ah, yes. I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Bosch Ball Club. And here's one of the bottles in question. Why are you going to just start for fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if any were on that but his. Mr. Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake, true. That bottle wouldn't bear trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humour me. Mr. Wright, that bottle will solve this case once and for all. Oh, does it have the card in it, maybe? What? That's some bottle. Oh my god, yes, it has the card in it. There's something inside the bottle. It's a 5 of hearts. What's this? That card? It can't be. Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Miss Olga Ollies? Yes, our little swindling devotion. That night I planted the card like I was supposed to, and Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Wait, this isn't... You tell me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found the card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed where? There's an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. The 5 of hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped, and the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. And here comes our classic Ace Attorney killer meltdown. That is all. Is this your idea of revenge? Felix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have had this little... I don't even know how to pronounce that. Tate? Right? This is insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone? Nah. Nah. I mean, you get to prosecute Christoph. I believe this time we've finally come to an end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin? He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest not now. I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he? None that we know of. Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. About the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveller. An odd profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him. I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor. Good. Mr. Wright? Yes? 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and as a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed 2 things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated, this courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? This is a dark time for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. You have to say it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Felix Wright, not guilty. Court is adjourned. Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would. Pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Gav, the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too, today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means the perception thing. I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. What's this weird vibe we're getting? What was that, Mr. Wright? You have to find the answer to the question yourself. The answer, right. Today was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met a girl whose picture is in your locket. Truthy. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Eh? I took this off his neck the night he died, but it looked like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. But that's perjury. You testified. You said that locket was yours. I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I really said that it was a locket with my daughter's pictures inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside? Sometimes the shortest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin law offices after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo, yes? How about coming to work for me? Eh? You mean at the Wright & Co. law offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you... You're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago, that legendary trial, and at the middle of it all was one man, Felix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. But did he though? Did he? Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to standing in a court of law, I'm afraid. Did he notice in today's trial? There's a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll just bet this was the forged evidence. I'm gonna guess it was the card. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left, leaving the wrong card in its place. Luckily for us. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then you really... Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps you can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, take that next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved, and at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic, I'd find out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law. This is how my story begins. That is the end of Trial 1 and the end of Case 1 of Apollo Justice. Let's save it here. Back. No, we should not continue on to the next episode. It's kind about Corner, which, as you can see, the next episode has Trilogy and our beloved Emma Sky in it. We love Emma. Back to title, yes. Back to the title screen. I hope you have enjoyed this lovely start to Apollo Justice. I probably won't start another case on Sunday. I might stream tomorrow. I might not. We'll see. Just for a quick little side note, RSA of the week that I chose is a deep dive into Bloodbear by Strawberry Sprite. Good video say I watched it on Wednesday. It was quite enjoyable. Very, very kind of nostalgic for me. Now let's go raid somebody. Let's go raid Scooby Psssttt. They're playing Resident Evil 2 remake. So let me just get through this ad. But yeah, I'll probably do a little bit more. Just rambling about how my week has gone on either tomorrow or Sunday. If I don't stream tomorrow, I'll probably be recording some like no commentary stuff, because I've been uploading some no commentary stuff of like, you know, mining on Ozark Season 2 and whatever, and some sim stuff. So I might record some Ozark stuff on tomorrow morning before I go into work. So yeah, anyways guys, let's get to the screen and send out the raid command. Hope you go enjoy Scooby stream, and I shall see you guys either tomorrow or Sunday. So yeah, I shall see you guys. Yeah, bye bye guys, bye bye.